hello to the miRunners crew. On hand, we have here Gai Waterhouse, Adrian Bott, and Emma Coleman, just to talk through our 2024 Farnan Partnership. Of course, a pre-raised fund going into the yearling sales this year. We really set out to target the progeny of our Group 1 Golden Slipper winner, Farnan. I thought I'd kick off with you, Adrian, just to give us an understanding of why so much work going on beforehand into the sales. Why do you think Farnan is such a great chance at stud?
Yeah, I think the profile of a golden slipper winner at stud, I think that history tells us that their chance of becoming a successful stallion and a champion stallion is certainly higher than the average stallion retiring to stud. So I think that's a very important fact to target. But it wasn't just a golden slipper winner. I thought he was a very dominant juvenile. He won the silver slipper in such dominant fashion. He won the Todman in such dominant fashion, and then again he was dominant in the golden slipper itself. But the manner in which he did it, the manner in which he did it with such natural and raw speed, he was able to had great tactical speed in his races. He sustained a high cruising speed throughout, and then still was able to accelerate off that. So every part of this race, I think he just showed an abundance of natural speed. And again, those sort of talking, the inheritable sort of traits of speed, that's sort of one of the most important factors we're looking in terms of the progeny that we want to train going forward. So, they're probably sort of two of the biggest factors on sort of his performance and his makeup. And then you take into account being by not a single doubt and the pedigrees that he's got on his dam side. Again, speaking of champion broodmare sires on there, in sort of have a street cry mare, there's a lot to like on pedigree, and just looking at the success of not a single doubt himself and other not a single doubt sons, Extreme Choice being a great example. He's got to be one of the more exciting profiles going to stud in recent years.
Gai, your take on Farnan. You are the all-time leading trainer of golden slipper winners. As we know, most sires fail, but most slipper winners succeed at stud. Talk us through Farnan, how he compared to you other slipper winners. What made him special?
Each of them are individual. Then you go to, Sebring, Piero, Vancouver, Farnham. Each of them have different traits. But what I loved about Farnham, and I think Adrian would agree, he was a cool dude. Nothing fazed him. You'd throw the ball, catch it with both hands, he'd run with it, he'd put it down on the winning post, he'd say, my task is done. There was never any rubbish in the horse. He was just the most beautiful horse to train. Good looking, beautiful size, not too big, not too heavy. And has he developed into the most beautiful, gorgeous looking stallion? If he's not a champion stallion, then I'll have to say I'm a monkey's uncle. And I don't think I'm that.
Fantastic. And it's fair to say, I think, going into the sales, we've seen we've sort of had a chance to see so many nice types by Farnan. We had a lot to choose from at Magic Millions, of course, the earliest sale in the season, of course, where Farnan was purchased from. So we found a lot of the forward, good physical Farnans that were in that Magic Millions sale. And for the Farnan Partnership, our job really was to go and pinpoint, isolate the very best of them and get them secured for this partnership. And Emma, our first purchase was the Farnan out of Reprimand, of course, being broken in as we speak. Tell us about him, please.
Yeah, so this colt is currently being broken in at Evergreen Stud, where they have big wraps for him. Very straightforward customer, as Aaron and Johnny Butler, the breaker, have said. The biggest thing for us here that this was a September-born colt who looks very forward out of a winning I'm Invincible mare, and we were just talking about the importance of broodmare sires. So we loved this. The fact that this colt was out of a winning I'm Invincible mare was a big tick on our side of things. The dam is also a full sister to multiple group winner Fiesta, another big tick on our side of things. Gai described this colt as a long, loose individual with a great temperament and reminded her very much of Farnan himself. So we were absolutely delighted to secure him for $375,000 from the draft of Telemon Thoroughbreds.
Yeah, great first get. Nice to buy him early, a colt like that, at probably at under what we thought he might make. So that was a bonus, giving us a bit more to spend on a couple other colts that came up later on. The next being the Farnan colt out of Comprende. Adrian, you knew both sides of this pedigree.
Yeah, Comprende was a mare that we had some progeny out before in Serta. She was a very fast juvenile herself, second in the Golden Gift at her second start. Yeah, I thought she was a great producer, and particularly after seeing this particular colt. So a young mare that in our eyes is a proven producer. But more so just him physically as a type. I thought he'd be the exact type that would handle all the early pressures of the sort of 2-year-old season. He looked to be handling the sales process very well, but just physically nice and forward and mature that you could see why he's in our first group of breaking at present. He's the one that's going to put his hand up and be ready to go for us early. So delighted that he was able to be one of the few Farnhams that could represent the package.
Yeah, and finally, Gai, I suppose the colt going into the sale with the biggest profile, the biggest pedigree by Farnan, out of I'm Excited from Bell River. He was sort of awkwardly placed later in the sale, so we sort of had to make sure we had enough a budget for him. But I just remember in every single meeting we went to, Gai, discussing the Farnan partnership, you said we are not leaving here without him. If we're going to buy Farnans, we have to buy him.
He absolutely ticked every box for me. He was a very masculine horse, like Storm Boy. He was lovely and good sized. He had huge strength through his neck and his shoulder and fantastic hindquarters. Everything about him just grabbed me. And I thought, if we don't get any Farnhams at this sale, as long as we get him, that's all I want. But we were able to secure the ones that Emma and Adrian have spoken about. And then the icing was on the cake with this colt.
3 lovely colts, all being broken in now. So we hope you are enjoying your updates. We know Golden Slipper winners make successful size. We've had Sebring and Piero through Tulloch Lodge. And of course, Slipper winners are so prominent still in pedigrees to this day through Todman and Vane, Luskin Star, Maskay, Rory's Jester, Marauding, Canny Lad, Dan Zero, Flying Spur, Stratum, and more recently Capitalist. And we are sure Farnan is the next. So we'd like to thank all the miRunners team, to Mick, Darren, and all the owners that have got behind us in this endeavour. We're very excited about the Farnan partnership, and we look forward to the journey with you all.